Modification of the hydraulic control system of the 955T wheel loader. The 955T wheel loader, originally equipped with cable-operated boom and bucket control, needs to be modified to hydraulic pilot control. Main tasks of this modification project: replace the main control valve of the hydraulic system. Install a pilot supply valve. Replace the control lever with a single-lever pilot valve. For the parts that need to be replaced, please refer to the modification parts list. Since the hydraulic pipelines need to be disassembled beneath the boom, for safety, use a supporting rod of sufficient height to hold the boom with the bucket fully tilted down. Or use lifting equipment to hold the boom. Or place the boom and bucket directly on the ground. Place a clean oil pan or oil drum under the main control valve to collect the hydraulic oil leaking out when removing the hoses. Remove the cover plate on the right side of the hydraulic oil tank. Completely drain the hydraulic oil from the tank. Step 1. Replacing the main control valve. Remove the cover plate on the front frame. Remove the left and right lower side panels of the cab. Remove the two U-clamps securing the steel pipes on the upper part of the valve body. Remove the 4 U-clamps securing the steel pipes on both sides of the front frame. Remove 2 steel pipes from the bottom of the main control valve. Remove 4 hoses from the upper part of the valve body. Remove the flexible shaft protective cover. Disconnect the flexible shaft from the main control valve. Remove the fixing bolts of the main control valve and take it out. Place the new main control valve in the original position. Install 4 pilot hose fittings on the valve body. Reconnect the 6 hoses on the valve body and refit the U-clamps for the steel pipes. Tighten the fixing bolts of the main control valve. Step 2. Installing the pilot supply valve. Install 4 fittings on the valve body. Then install the bracket and solenoid valve, followed by 1 fitting on the solenoid valve. Connect 3 hoses of different specifications to the corresponding fittings on the valve body, but do not tighten yet. Remove the 2 plugs on the return valve block and install the hose fittings. Install the pilot supply valve on the right side of the rear frame, securing it with 2 bolts. Remove a plug from the working pump 4-way valve block, install a fitting. And connect the upper rear hose of the pilot supply valve to this fitting, tighten both ends. Remove the inlet hose of the priority valve on the left side of the rear frame. Install a 3-way valve block, then tighten the fixing bolts of the hose. Install a fitting on the 3-way block, connect the front hose of the pilot supply valve to this fitting, and tighten both ends. Connect the lower rear hose of the pilot supply valve to the return valve block at the bottom of the tank, and tighten both ends. Step 3. Replacing with a single-lever pilot valve. Remove the carpet in the cab, then remove the 4 bolts securing the control lever plate. Cut several cable ties on the flexible shaft. Remove the control lever assembly together with the flexible shaft. Install 4 hose fittings and hoses at the bottom of the pilot valve body, and mark them A, B, C, and D. Using bolts with washers, install the pilot valve pressure hose, P, and return hose, T. Install the pilot valve assembly with hoses onto the housing and tighten 4 bolts. Install the connection plate at the bottom of the housing, connect the 6 pilot valve hoses to the connection plate, tighten the nuts, and mark them accordingly as A, B, C, D, P, and T. Route the pilot wiring, pass the white connector through the plate opening, and connect it to the white connector on the pilot valve. Install the housing assembly onto the cab floor and tighten 4 bolts. On the right side of the loader, connect the 6 hoses at the bottom of the plate. Connect hose T to the return valve block at the bottom of the hydraulic tank and tighten the hose fitting. Connect hose P to the oil port on the solenoid valve of the pilot supply valve and tighten the hose fitting. Mark both ends of the other 4 long hoses with corresponding labels, and route them through the center of the front and rear frames. Connect the elbow fittings to the main control valve and the other ends to the connection plate, then tighten the hose fittings. Connect the solenoid valve wiring. Find the reserved pilot wiring connector on the left side of the loader, connect it to the pilot valve wiring, and secure with cable ties. Finally, refill hydraulic oil, start the engine, and operate the pilot lever to test boom and bucket movement. Check all modified hydraulic lines for leaks. If no abnormalities are found, reinstall the hydraulic tank cover plate, cab side panels, and front frame cover plate.